Mr. Speaker. My question is as well to the Government House Leader. In the twilight of his days here as a member of provincial parliament, can he confirm for this House that the individual who allegedly wiped clean at the behest of the former Premier's Chief of Staff 24 hard drives in that office, that he had a criminal record, yes or no?
Mr. Speaker, again, there is an ongoing OPP investigation, Mr. Speaker. I think we should allow the OPP to undertake their work. And what we heard, Mr. Speaker, from the officer who appeared in front of the committee last week were two things. First of all, that the matter in hand dealt with Mr. Livingston under the former Premier, and also that members should stay out of it. And Mr. Speaker, I am very, very pleased that our Premier has sought some legal advice, and this is taking legal action, Mr. Speaker, because what we are asking that member and the Leader of the Opposition is to retract their statements and to apologize, Mr. Speaker. And what's interesting, Mr. Speaker, is that member in particular has had some experience with this and has had to do it in the past, Mr. Speaker. So perhaps based on that experience, she should take the same action.
Supplementary.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I'm going to go back to the Minister of Government Services. This is actually a pretty big deal. We want to know is if this is the policy of the Liberal
Minister of Energy, come to order.
The leader of the Ontario Liberal Party to employ people with a criminal record without undergoing a security check and to give them unfettered access to the government's most secret information, to allegedly then destroy that information to public scrutiny. Two Ontario judges said this individual was, quote, inconsistent as a witness and, quote, lacked credibility. But it was the minister's government, his caucus, and his party who up until last weekend allowed this individual to access some of the most sensitive government, legislative and party documents. In fact, the Minister of Government Services has been the Government House Leader the entire time. As the constitutionally responsible Minister of the IT of the government.
Thank you. Thank you. Stop the clock, please. Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
What about Chris Froggett?
Mr. Speaker, much of what was said by that member, allegations which are unproven, Mr. Speaker, are in fact the topic of the OPP investigation. Let's leave it with the OPP. But again, Mr. Speaker, the honourable member seemed to need some reminding of January 31st, 2005, when she put out a statement that I'd like to read in part to the House. The operators of www.bluedraft.com, Mr. Speaker, that was a blog that the member was involved with, Ms. Lisa MacLeod, the member from Nepean Carleton, and Chris Froggett would like to sincerely apologize to Maureen Murphy-Macon and Rick Morgan for wrongfully implicating them in an erroneous story in January 2004 revolving around the decision by former PC leader Peter MacKay not to seek the leadership of the new Conservative Party of Canada. We admit that the facts as reported in the article were false and unfortunately based on a misleading source, and it goes on and on, Mr. Speaker. That's all we're asking the member to do.
Thank you. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. It's not acceptable to read anything into the record that you cannot say that is parliamentary, unparliamentary language, so I'm going to ask the member to withdraw. Speaker. Those that decide to preempt what I'm trying to do will also have the same problem. New question. The member from Toronto.